Hey all YouTubers, and welcome back. So this is it, the final video of the move to the new apartment. I want to talk a little bit about what I'm going to do during this video, and it's going to be in 3 parts. I'm going to tell you really about the moving process. I'm going to show you the display tank up close, the sump up close, and the new control panel area up close. And the last one is one of my subscribers had a question regarding how high the water level gets in the sump during a power outage. So during the sump portion of the video, I will show you all what happens when I turn my return pump off and just how much that fills up. So let me talk briefly about the overall move. As you guys can see here, it's finally in. And I'm just kind of turn real quick. Here's the new apartment looking outside, and this is kind of the corner nook. It really is the dining room nook, but we decided not to put our dining room table there. Instead is my tank, and I'm super happy. As you can tell here, it's very clean setup. Nothing around it, no wires. Really, all I have is the tank and a chair, and there'll be some artwork up as well so that you can sit and enjoy the tank and read a book. Although I have 2 kids, so the chances of that happening are really quite slim. So during the move, I would say overall, the breaking down and the transporting the half mile to the new apartment probably took about 5 hours. I did clean things as I went. You watch the other videos, you can kind of see my process. But I totally underestimated how long the setup was going to take. I mean, it took me, I don't know, 8 hours just to get it in working order. And not looking like this. I mean, I had wires everywhere. I just had stuff thrown in the tank. I mean, the rock work alone took me forever to do. I'll talk more about that when I zoom in. But it took me a long time. And I knew I had a vision for this tank. I wanted it to be really the centerpiece of this area, and I wanted people who come and visit to just see the tank, not the wires, not the controllers, nothing, not the dosing equipment. I just want them to be able to enjoy the tank without being bothered by all the other stuff in the hobby that I actually really enjoy and that a lot of us enjoy doing. And I've accomplished that. I've accomplished that by, as you can see, the main wall behind it. On the other side of that wall, which I'll show you later, is like a folding area. And I drilled a couple holes through that wall and put all my equipment back there and mounted all of my equipment. So I think it's really quite nice and really quite fantastic, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in here on the display tank and talk about that a little bit. And I'm using a new tripod, super duper cheapo aluminum tripod for this video, but hopefully it'll at least make it a lot more stable. Okay, so in the tank itself, really, it's the new Aquascape, and I changed it around a little bit, but not a whole lot. It took me hours to get it this way. I really wanted to have 2 towers. I don't know if you can. Oops, sorry. I don't know if you can see, but over here on the left-hand side, I'll put my finger out here. This is the main tower, and I have another rock, a big rock, which is this whole thing right here. And I wanted to put that upright and make like the 2 towers, you know, like Lord of the Rings, and then have a gap in between for the fish to swim. But I couldn't balance it, and I didn't go out and buy epoxy. And I didn't do it for a couple of reasons. One, I was a little lazy, but the main reason was I've heard horror stories of people using aquarium safe epoxy and having negative effects on the fish. And since it was already wet, I didn't want to risk the health of Lucille, Benny, or my snails. So I decided not to do that. So I had to change it around. But I knew what I wanted is I wanted something visually appealing from the front. So when you're looking at it, and before it just looked like one giant rock mass. And I'm super happy with how it turned out. Watching some other videos from some of my subscribers, thank you guys, I got some ideas. So I have a couple caves now. One over here that goes all the way to the back. One over here that goes to the back. I put this piece on top to kind of create a little cave effect. And then I took some rocks, and you can't really see it, but there's one right here that creates an island, and there's one over here that creates an island. And I'm really excited to make little coral islands out of those. I also raised up the rocks. I was kind of bummed out because I had all this space up here wasted. So on this beautiful rock right here, I put a couple base rocks, one over here and one over here, and lifted it up so that I was using more of the vertical space in this cube. Lucille and Benny had a good trip over. Their holding container did get a little hot. It got up to 82, 83, unfortunately. They usually keep it around, I keep it around 78 over here. So they did get a little warm. And one of my snails, I got stuck in a bucket for 3 days. I didn't know it was in there. And then being an idiot, I got so worried that I just threw him back in the tank. And that was a huge temperature shock for him. And he was doing his turning, and I thought he was gonna die, but he's still alive, so I'm hoping that he makes it. I also removed some of the larger grains of sand in the tank, and took out a little bit of sand because I added some rock in there and didn't want a super deep sand bed. So I'm really excited. As soon as it stabilizes up, I'm going to go out and get an anemone once one comes in. I think I've decided on a rose bubble tip. You know, very common nowadays, very beautiful under the lights. And then I'll see how that does, and I'm thinking of getting a Watchman goby with a pistol shrimp as well, because I have a lot of good nooks and crannies for them to hang out now. But as you know in my videos, I take things very, very slowly, so it's going to take quite a bit of time for me to do all of that. Okay, I'm going to stop this part here, and when I come back, I will be zoomed in on the sump area, and I will do a demonstration of what happens during a power outage. All right, be right back, everybody. All right, everybody, welcome back. Here is the sump portion. It looks very, very similar. As you can see here, I'll just point out my equipment here for those of you that are watching, and then I'll kind of show you what I did. So, over here is my RODI container. It just comes with the Red Sea Reefer. It's 1.5 gallons, and I have my Tunes osmolator auto top off put into there. It's not ideal because everything now depends on a float switch down at the bottom, and it does get clogged up. So, but I'm pretty happy with it. I have just a cheapo LED light that turns on and off right here. You can kind of see, really easy. I like that a lot. I have my 2 probes from Neptune Apex, my temperature and my pH. I put them over here. I think it's a good spot for them. I can clean them really easily that way. In the back, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see in the video, behind here is where I have the outputs for my dosing pumps, my calcium and my alkalinity. I put them there because that's where the overflow box is. That's where it comes down, and it's a really high mixture water area. So it shouldn't have any problem mixing up there pretty easily. Let's see here. You can see right here is my Aquascape EB120. I love this thing. I've upgraded a little. I put some silicone tubing here. A little bit expensive, but it really silences the sound of the pumps. And I do have CJ pumps down here. CJ 3.0 Synchro Silent. And then over here you can kind of see the output. I have just a piece of filter right there, and that really helps keep all of my bubbles down so I don't see any in my return tank. Up here, I just built this little thing. I will be purchasing a phosphate reactor, but I don't have one yet, and that's okay. But over here is my mini reactor where I just have my carbon. It's from Bulk Reef Supply. In the final stage there, I have it pumping up in this tube and then pumping out in this tube. I replace that every couple weeks. Okay, I'm now going to turn off my return pump. So, if you watch closely, here's the water line, okay, right down at the bottom. I'm going to turn it off and see what happens, how much it goes down. Siphon's almost done. Okay, that's as high as the water line is going to get. So you can see there's still tons of space here, probably enough for, I don't know, 5 to 8 more gallons there. So yeah, that is the sump portion. In the last part of the video, I will show you how I set up my control area. Be right back, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome back to the last part. Here is the setup on the other side. So if you can see down, here's the hallway. You can see the blue fluorescent lights here. All right, and here is the setup. Now down below, if I kind of look down here, is where I have my two-part solution. Everything's being wired and pumped through there. And the very bottom is empty right now, but that's where I'm going to put like a 15-gallon container for my auto top-off. Currently my auto top-off is over here. It's the only thing you really see. Now, if you look over here, I'm super excited about it because I have it all set up. I have up here my two EB8s, right? And then obviously my wave maker, my two BRS dosing pumps, my Neptune Apex controller, my auto top-off system, and then of course my Neptune Apex controller with a little bit more room for growth. If you look over here, I just drilled a couple holes right in here in the Formica countertop. And then I put these little black, they go on top of a desk to hold all the wires in, so it makes it look pretty nice. And I did the same down below. I also went ahead and got a label maker. Here's a label maker from Costco. Brother, very nice, 20-some bucks. And I labeled everything, which I've been wanting to do for a long time. My primary, secondary calcium. I have them labeled on my Neptune Apex Fusion, but not here. So I did go ahead and label everything, so I know what everything is. Up top here is where I am just storing all of my stuff. My extra pumps, you know, whatever gear, filter socks, my Kalkwasser, which I'm not using currently, calcium alkalinity carbon, so on and so forth. And then right below is stuff I use all the time, you know, my Red Sea test kits, my refractometer, food, all that kind of stuff. I have a little bit more space over on the edge here, and the reason I have this space is I intend to purchase some more items over time. I'm certainly going to purchase possibly another pH check from Neptune Apex, salinity probe, you know, moisture detectors, that sort of stuff. I also did get for Christmas, which I'm really excited about. I know it's not the most highly rated, but it was a gift and it's pretty awesome. I got the automatic feeding system from Neptune. I'm not going to use it daily because I think it will make it look cluttered in the tank, but it's here for vacations and for backup, and I'll definitely get that set up and going. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, comments, how I did things, please do let me know. Subscribe, hit like below, and yeah, I will talk to you all later. Have a great day, guys.